In this class, we're going to talk about ration formulation. We are going to learn how to formulate a diet using the Pearson squared method. Okay, let's write down the question. Formulate a diet for ram band using maize 8.9% CP. CP means crude protein, you understand? And soya beans 40% crude protein, indicating that the protein must be 23%. And we are given some additional ingredients. We are given 1.2 lysine, 0.7 methionine, and 300 kilocalories metabolizable energy. And we have some fixed ingredients included. These include sesame, which is 10%. We have bone meal, 3%. We have salt, 0.3%, and vitamin, 0.25%. And we are given that the crude protein level of sesame is 2.42. Now, please, I want to pay attention. I'm going to take it step by step, okay? Now, the first step is that we have to prepare the table, okay? You have to prepare the table. The table will contain the parameters that we've been given in the question. On this table, I have the feed stuff. You understand? You know that in the question, we are given that we should formulate a diet for ram band using maize. So the first feed stuff is maize. The second is soya beans. And we have sesame, which are part of the ingredients that we are given. We have bone meal, we have salt, we have vitamin. You understand? Okay? Now, you see, on this table, I'm going to have quantity. You understand? Because we are given the quantity of the respective feedstuff. You understand? In the question, we are given the quantity of the respected feedstuff. So, for this, I'm going to have for, that will be, for this, I'm going to have quantity. See, this question is simple, okay? To formulate a diet, we must know the quantity of the ingredient that we want to use. You understand? You know, we are asked to formulate a diet. Now, we must know the quantity of each ingredient, of each feedstuff that we're going to use. You understand? So we cannot formulate a diet without knowing the quantity of each feedstuff. So the goals of this question is to determine the proportion that will be contained in the diet. You understand? The proportion of the feedstuff and the ingredient that will be contained in the diet. That is the goals of the question. Do you understand? Because the understanding of the question will give values to your solution. Okay? So understand that what we want to calculate here is the quantity of the feed that we have, that we contain in our diet. You understand? The quantity of the ingredients, the quantity of the feedstuff that we need in our diet. That is what we are asked to determine. Okay? So let's start. Now we have the quantity, and another column will contain the crude protein. You understand? Are you paying attention? Then another column, we are going to have the checked protein level. Checked protein level. Do you understand? So yeah, I'm going to have, let me put level, because it cannot contain it, so I will just have to drag it small. Okay? Now, so for this, are we given the maize quantity? We are not given the maize quantity, so we are not given the soya beans quantity as well. But we are given that sesame is 10%, so I'm going to have 10 for sesame. And bone meal is 3%, so I'm going to have 3. Then we have salt. Salt is 0.3%, so I'm going to have 0.3. Okay, let's put percent. Now we have vitamin. Vitamin is 0.25%. You understand? So now we are not given the quantity for maize and soya beans. Now let's check for the crude protein. For maize, we are given that the crude protein is 8 points. Okay. For soya beans, the crude protein for soya bean is 40%. You understand? So I'm going to have 40% here. For soya bean is 40%, and for maize is 8.9%. You understand? So now those are the information that we are given in the question. Okay? So now the goals of this question is that we need to determine the quantity of maize that we need. Are you paying attention? The quantity of maize that we need and the quantity of soya bean that we need. You understand? And also, we need to determine the checked protein level for maize and soya bean. You understand? Don't forget that we've been given that the checked protein level for sesame, is 2.42. So here I'm going to have 2.42. So we've been given that the check protein level of sesame is what? 2.42. Now, the goals is to determine the quantity of maize and soya bean, which is XY, and the check protein level of maize and soya bean. Okay, now you see, I'm going to take it step by step because we are using Pearson square method and it required your attention. Okay, now the first step is that you have to add all the fixed ingredients together. You understand? Hello? You have to add all the fixed ingredients together. So let us add. You see, these are the fixed ingredients. Are you paying attention? What you have here are the fixed ingredients. So all these ingredients must be 100%. Okay? All these must be 100% because it has been converted to percent, which is 100. You understand? So their summation must be 100. Okay? So let us add. Here I'm going to add addition. That will be 10 plus 3, 10% plus 3% plus 0.3% plus 0.25%. Are you paying attention? So that will be, if you add all this together, you're going to have 13.55%. So I'm going to have 13.55%. Okay? So now I've already added all the fixed ingredients. Now the goals is that I want to determine the percentage that is allotted to X and Y, which is for maize and soya beans. Are you paying attention? Listen to the explanation again. The goals is that I want to determine the percentage allotted to X and Y, which is for maize and soya beans. So now you know that the sum of all the fixed ingredients must be what? 100. Do you understand? So now to determine the percentage allotted for X and Y, I'm going to subtract this sum from 100. You understand? Listen to the explanation again. All of these must be 100%. The reason why I add, the first step is to add all the fixed ingredients. So I had all the fixed ingredients and I got 13.55%. Now I want to determine the percentage that is left for X and Y, which is for maize and soya beans. So I'm going to have 100 minus 100% minus 13.55%. Okay? So what will be the answer? That is 86.45. So here I'm going to have 86.45. So that is the percentage that is the percentage for maize and soya bean. Okay? Now the second step is that you have to subtract the protein that is given from the indicated protein level. Don't forget that we are given that the indicated protein level is what? 23%. Let me write it out. Indicated protein level 23%. That is our check protein level must not be greater than 23%. You understand? Let me even write it out. It must not be greater than 23%. That is, it must be 23%. It must not be greater than 23% and it must not be less than 23%. You understand? So the protein level that you're given in the question is 23%. So that means that if I calculate the protein level of maize and if I add it to that of soya beans and if I add it to 2.42, that means it must give me 23%. You understand? So now the second step says we should subtract the protein level that is given from the indicated protein level. The protein level that we are given is what? 2.42, which is that of sesame. You understand? We are given that the protein the protein level for sesame is what? 2.42. So I'm going to have the second step now. We are going to subtract the indicated protein level. This is the first step. The second step, we are going to subtract the indicated protein level. That is 23% minus 2.42. Now 20% minus 2.42, that is 20.58. 20.58%. So that means that, do you know that this 20.58 belongs to what? It belongs to that of maize and soya beans. You understand? It belongs to the check protein level for maize and soya beans is 20.58. You understand? Because we have already subtracted that of sesame. The protein level that we are given is only for sesame. You understand? So we have already subtracted 2.42 from 23%, so we are left with 20.58, which is what A and B. And A and B is represented. I use A and B to represent maize and soya beans. Do you understand? So now, please pay attention. Now we are done with the first and the second step. The next step is that we have to calculate the percentage of the protein that will be placed in the middle of the Pearson squared. You see, I just want to make it simple as much as possible so that you'll be able to understand and you'll be able to solve this kind of question in exam. Okay. Now, the third step is that I want to calculate the value. Let me just put it like that. I want to calculate the value that will be placed in the middle of the Pearson squared. Okay. Now, this is how Pearson squared. The Pearson squared that we're going to be using. This is how it looks like. We're going to have a square. We're going to have a square that is going to have. We're going to have something like this. You understand? So I want to determine the value that I'm going to place here. Okay, that is the third step. Now, to determine the value, I'm going to divide this. That is the remaining. 20.58 is the check protein level for both maize and soya bean. Hope you know. Yes, 20.58 is the check protein level for both maize and soya bean. So that means if I want to determine the value, I'm going to take this 20.58% all over the quantity of maize and soya bean that I'm going to use. That will also be in a percentage, you understand? That is what? 86.45. You see, 86.45 is the quantity of maize and soya bean that we are going to need in the diet. And this has been expressed in percentage, you understand? So the quantity of maize and soya bean in percentage is what? 86.45% multiplied by 100, you understand? That will give us the value that we're going to place in the middle as the Pearson square value, you understand? So I'm going to have this multiplied by 100 will give me, now the punch of calculator, we're going to have 23.81, okay? We're going to have 23.81. So here I'm going to have 23.81. You can see now. So now that is the third step. Please, I want to pay attention. The next step is that now I want to explain something that is very important with respect to what we are discussing. When you get to this step, we have already drew the Pearson squared. So having calculated the Pearson square value, you understand, that is the value that is going to be in the Pearson squared, you understand? So you see, the first feedstock is what? Is maize. So I'm going to represent this side as maize, and the second is soya beans. So I'm going to represent this as soya beans. Okay, don't forget the goals. The goals of the question is to determine the quantity of maize and soya bean that is going to contain in our feed, in our diet, you understand, and the check protein level, but for both maize and soya bean respectively. Okay, now don't forget that the good protein level for maize is what? Is 8.9%. So I'm going to place 8.9% here. That is the good protein level for maize. And that of soya beans is what? Is 40%. So here I'm going to have 40%. 40%, okay? Now, the next step, please pay attention. Look at this arrow. Look at this arrow. This arrow comes here, pierces through the box and goes here. And this arrow comes here from here, pierces through this box and goes here. Now, the reason why I just use that as illustration to help you understand, okay? See, the next step here is that you have to take the positive difference. What positive difference are you going to take? Look, we want to get two values. Listen, we want to get two values. Now, we want to get one value here and another value here. To get the value here, that will be the difference between what you have here and what is inside the box. The positive difference is what we're going to add here. And the value here, the value that will be here, will be the positive difference of this and this. Do you understand? Okay, so 40% minus 23 points. Okay, don't let me put percent. Let's just use the number. Okay, 8 points on 40 minus 23.81%. Let me put my calculator. 40, please kindly. Okay, 40 minus 23.81, that is 16.19. So here I'm going to have 16.19. Okay, now 8.9 minus 23.81, that is 14.91. You understand? 14.91. So here I'm going to have 14.91. I'm very sure you understood what I did. Look, I told you that we are to take the positive difference. You understand? So what I mean by positive difference is that subtract the lowest number from the highest number. Subtract the lowest number from the highest number. Now, which one is greater in between 42 and 23.81? Obviously, 40 is greater. You understand? So I'm going to have 40 minus 23.81. That will give me the value that is here. Are you paying attention? Now, for the next one, the value that is here is gotten by subtracting 23.81, by subtracting 8.9 from 23.81. You understand? Okay, so now having gotten both values, the next step is that you have to add the value that you have here and the value that you have here to get the value that is going to be here. Sum this value together, 16.19 and 14.91. That will be 31.1. So I'm going to have 31.1 here. Please, this thing is simple, okay? I just wanted to understand. That's why I try to break it down, okay? If you understood to this point, then you won't find this difficult to comprehend, okay? All I have to do is that I just take the positive difference, this minus this, and this minus this, then I sum it together, I got this. That's all. Okay? Now, the next step now is that we have to get the percentage for maize and soya bean in the Pearson squared. You understand? To get the percentage of maize and soya bean in the Pearson squared, I'm going to use, okay, let's first calculate for maize. The percentage for maize alone now, listen. Do you know, please listen to the explanation. The percentage that we have here contains both maize and soya beans, but we need the percentage of maize and soya bean in the Pearson square to get the quantity of maize and soya bean that we need in our diet. You understand? To get the quantity of maize and soya bean in percentage that we need in our diet, we need to determine the percentage of soya beans and maize that we need that is in our Pearson square. Okay, so that means I'm going to have the value that corresponds to maize is what? 16.19 sorry, 16.19 all over the total. You understand? 31.1 multiplied by 100. You understand? So we want to get the percentage of maize and soya beans in our Pearson square now. Okay, so 16.19 all over 31.1 multiplied by 100, that is 52.06%. 52.06%. Okay, so the quantity for soya bean will be, now the corresponding value for soya bean is what? 14.19. So I'm going to have 14.91 sorry, all over 31.1 multiplied by 100%, sorry. So here I'm going to have 47.94%. Okay, so now we've gotten the percentage in the Pearson square. Now we can easily determine the percentage quantity, you understand, of both maize and soya beans. Okay, so you see, if you add this together, you're going to get 100%. You understand? We get the percentage allotted to both maize and soya beans in our Pearson square. Now, from this, we can easily determine the percentage quantity of soya beans and maize. You understand? So let's calculate the percentage quantity of both maize and soya beans that will be in our diet. To get that percentage quantity for maize that will be in our diet will be equals to, please, I want to pay attention, okay? That it will be percentage of maize from the Pearson squared, hello, listen, percentage of maize from the Pearson squared all over 100 multiplied by percentage of quantity of maize plus soya beans. I'm going to take the explanation again. I'm just trying to help you to understand. Please, let me give you the formula. To get the percentage quantity of maize alone, listen, we want to determine the percentage quantity of maize alone. Use this formula. Percentage quantity of maize will be equals to percentage quantity of maize in the Pearson squared all over 100 multiplied by percentage quantity of maize plus soya beans. I just derived this formula, okay? I want to understand, okay? So that's why I just, mathematically, if you understand what I wrote here, you'll be able to understand what I'm doing, okay? See, percentage quantity of maize that will be present in our diet. That's what we want to determine now. And that is given. I formulate a formula. I derive this formula. Percentage quantity of maize in the Pearson squared. That is what? 52.06%. 52.06% all over 100 multiplied by percentage quantity of maize and soya beans. That means percentage quantity of maize and soya bean is what? Is 86.5%. I'm very sure you understood what I did. Don't forget that the quantity of maize and soya beans is represented by X and Y. And all these values must sum up to 100. You understand? So I've already subtracted all this value from 100. I got 86.45%, which is that of the quantity for maize and soya bean. You understand? So we want to get that of maize. Okay? So that of maize is this all over 100 multiplied by 86.5%. So if you take the product, you're going to have 45.01%. 45.01. Okay, so that is the value for the percentage quantity of maize. So I'm going to replace this place by 45.01. Okay, now let's calculate for soya beans. All you have to do is just to pay attention. Okay, now for this you just have to substitute, instead of percentage quantity of maize in the Pearson square that we have, you just have to replace it with that of soya beans. So for this I'm going to have percentage quantity for soya beans. That will be equals to, now from the Pearson square, the value that we got is what? 47.94. So I'm going to have 47.94 all over 47.94% all over 100 multiplied by 86.45%. You understand? So for this I'm going to have 86.45%. That will be, if you take the product and you divide this and take the product, you're going to have 41.44. So I'm going to have here 41.44%. Now, so that of soya beans is 41.44%. Now, having done this, you see when you get to this point, you can easily find the percentage quantity for that of soya bean by just subtracting 45.01 from 86.45. You understand? So now we are done with that of quantity. Now let's also calculate the checked protein level. To get the checked protein level is quite easy. I'm going to give you the formula, okay? So let me erase this so that we can have space to calculate the checked protein level. To get the checked protein level, you just have to make use of this formula. Quantity multiplied by crude protein all over 100. You understand? This is the formula that you're going to use to calculate the checked protein level for the feedstock that you want to do. We are dealing with two feedstock. Now we have maize and soya bean. So we want to calculate the checked protein level for maize. I'm going to have the quantity for maize. Now the checked protein level for maize, that will be the quantity for maize. And don't forget, in the previous calculation that we did, the quantity for maize is what? 45.01 in percentage. So I'm going to have 45.01 all over okay, let's take the product, multiply by the crude protein for meat, that is 8.9. So here I'm going to have multiply by 8.9 divided by 100. So if you punch your calculator, you're going to have something like 45.01 multiplied by 8.9 divided by 100. That will be 4%, you understand? So for this, I'm going to have 4%, that is the value of A. Now let's calculate for B, which is for soybeans. For soybean, I'm going to have, now the percentage quantity for soybean is 41.44. So I'm going to have 41.44% multiplied by the crude protein contains in soybeans in percentage is what? Is 40%. So I'm going to have here 40 all over 100. Okay, 41.44 multiplied by 40 divided by 100. Okay, that is 16.58. 16.5. Okay, let me just put it 576, because if I approximate, you're going to discover that by the time we sum all the values of the checked protein together, we're going to discover that it is going to be higher than 23%. So just leave it in 3 decimal place. So even for that, you see, for this maize, I approximate to a whole number. It is 4.00 and some infinitesimal number. Okay, so here I'm going to leave it like this. So for B, I'm going to replace it at 16.576%. You understand? Okay, so let's check. Let's add this together. If we are going to get 23%, 4 plus 2.42 plus 16.576. That is, you see, that is 22.996. You know, I told you I approximate that as 4. You see, if you punch this calculator, if you check this in your calculator, you are going to discover that you're going to get 4.00. There are some numbers after 4. You're going to get 4.01. You understand? That will be 4.01. So if I replace this as 4.01, let's say I did approximate. If I replace by 4.01 and we have percent, and I replace that 4.01%. Now if we add all this together, let's check. 4.01 plus 16.576 plus 2.42. So you see I have 23.006, which is approximately 26. You understand? So that is how to calculate the checked protein level. Now, if you add all this as well together, you're going to discover that you're going to have 100%. So the aims of the question is to determine the feed ingredient, and we are done with it. You understand? This is the diet that they want us to prepare. So if you come across this question in the exam, I'm very sure you'll be able to solve it. Is that not it? So that is all for this class. If you have any question, feel free to ask me. Okay. And most importantly, don't forget the steps and the formula that I gave you here. The checked protein level is calculated by taking the product of the quantity of the respective feedstock, then dividing the product of the quantity of the respective feedstock by the crude protein, then divided by 100. You're going to get the checked protein level. Okay, so that will be all for this class.